everybody. Thanks for watching. A lot of people are worried about the state of America. What is going to happen in America's future? Where is America headed? A lot of people are looking to the news and looking at TV and seeing what's going on overseas, and they thinking that, there might be another terrorist attack here. What is going to happen? So the whole thing is, whatever the powers that be are planning, they will accomplish. Whatever they're trying to do, they are going to get it done if the American people do not wake up. If we don't wake up and snap out of it and realize what's going on, what has been going on in America, then, whatever they're planning is going to happen. It's going to come true. They will reach the goal of their agenda. We have to wake up and snap out of it. Now, it is obvious that America has been taken over by international bankers, corporations, and corrupt politicians. It's obvious. Now, we can look at history and we can see exactly what has happened in this country, what has happened to this country. And we look at history and we read about these things and we see all of these issues, and we read about it and we just ignore it. Nobody talks about it. Nobody cares that, these people who are running these politicians own, the news media. They own everything. These people have managed to buy up every facet of influence, every facet of persuasion in America. They own the radio stations, the news media. They own the magazines, the newspapers. They own everything, and they have been using it well against us. Now, we know December 23rd, 1913, with only 3 members of Congress present, these people passed the Federal Reserve Act while everybody else was away on holiday weekend or, for Christmas weekend, Christmas vacation. They passed the Federal Reserve Act, and they gave the power of our money. They gave the power of our money supply to a group of private international bankers. And they won't tell us who these people are, and what's going on. Now, that's like you giving your friend money to hold for you, and they giving it to somebody else, and they won't tell you, who got your money. You try to get your money back, and it's problems. Paperwork got to be done. It's issues. Now, in reality, you call a cop, call a lawyer, you get it straightened out. But this is the government. And, who do we turn to? It's nobody we can go to, we can look to. We're supposed to look to our government, but they have obviously sold us out years ago. We just let it happen. We just forget about what's going on. We act like, everything is fine, and we stay entertained, and we play around, and we just forget what has taken place in this country. So yeah, people are worried, but you got to look at the history. Look at what's taking place. Look at what's right in front of our face. 2008, big stock market crash. So many people lost their homes. The mortgage bubble, the derivatives bubble. So many people got suckered into the whole housing market, and it was pulled from under them, and they lost their homes. A lot of people really seen how crooked these bankers are, in 2008 and, since then. But our government, who's supposed to be for the people, have instead bailed out the banks, given our money to the banks, the very people who stole your homes. And yeah, we had the whole, the march and the protests, and we had the whole Occupy Wall Street thing. But, what came from that? Nothing happened. These banks still made away with trillions of dollars. And it's like the American people just, we get mad for a little bit, that something happens. Something happens in the media. Somebody dies or a celebrity does something. Somebody says something crazy, and we just forget. And we move on to the next thing. And this is what has been taking place over the years. They are very good at taking our eye off of what matters and focusing it on something stupid. And we have been falling for it, for a long time. We have become willing accomplices. We have become willing hostages in the plan of the power elite. Now, we have forgotten that, the power is in the people. We have become subservient to the government instead of remembering that they are supposed to serve us. The power is in the people. We have seriously forgotten that. We have forgotten it. We have to really look at history and let history remind us of what has taken place. What took place on Jekyll Island. You know, there have been books written about these subjects, and we don't read them. We just don't. Nobody pays attention. And we wonder why things are the way that it is in America. Now, we got to remember the power is in the people. We are living under the biggest con in human history. The biggest con. Our presidential administration is full of frauds. They're full of frauds. We have been tricked into believing that we actually have a say in what happens in this country. We have no say at all. We have been tricked into thinking that, we go elect somebody and they're going to do something and they're going to change and help, fix America. When has this happened? It has not happened yet. And we have been under this con for years. We are by no means free in this country. Now, all of the wealth has been stripped away. All of the land, the wealth of America has been given to these bankers and given to these, people, and they have placed it into a system of control. So now, if you have land and you want to, grow some crops and you want to farm and you want to grow some fruits and vegetables and sell it to the locals, you can't simply do that without going through this system of control. It's not the same anymore. Our money used to be backed by gold and silver. They took that away from us and gave us what? Paper. Nothing. It's just paper. And a lot of people say, well, you can buy stuff with this paper. I can pay my bills. I can do what I need to do with this paper. But, if the dollar crashes, then it's just paper. It's worthless. Now, a lot of people think that, well, when a dollar crashes, I got material things I can sell. I can sell a car. I can sell my house. I got things that's worth money. But who are you going to sell them to? You want to sell them to China? You don't live in China. So what are you going to do with, the yen or with the pound or, with the euro? What are you going to do with that money in America? It's going to be a huge problem that we will face if the dollar crashes. And a lot of people are not thinking about that. So, you get up every morning or every night or what have you, and you go to work. And you dedicate your life, years of service, back-breaking labor. You really, you put your work before everything. Because if you lose your job, that's it. You can't pay the mortgage. You can't put the kids through school. You can't buy food. So the job is key. It's everything. So you put everything into work. Everything revolves around work. And you do this for years. For what? Paper. For $1. Paper money. This is what we do it for. You do it for paper. And it's just paper. It's not backed by anything. So if you're going to put your life into your work, into what you do, into your profession, think about what you're getting back. This is what you're getting back. You're getting back paper. Wouldn't you rather get back something that can't crash? This crashes, that's it. It's gone. It's worthless. Wouldn't you rather get back something that, no matter what happens, it's going to be valuable? So we work so hard and we do all the things that we do to get back paper instead of gold and silver. And we sit back and, we let this happen. So now our currency is currently backed by nothing except for paper. And the whole thing is, if it crashes, we will face some terrible things. We'll have some, terrible issues we will have to face. But as I said in previous videos, that it's a couple of things that has to happen before the dollar can crash, before they will allow it to crash. One, they have to take away our guns. They have to take away our weapons or limit our weapons or our ammo supply somehow, some way. And, they have been trying to do that for years now. And they have to put the police, the state and local police, under federal control. They have to do that. There's no way they're going to be able to, keep control of the people with the police force not under federal control, because this will be a federal issue once the dollar, goes down. So those state and local policemen are, they regular people, so they will have problems as well. But if it's under federal control, they can bring the military along with the police force and militarize everything, not just under martial law, but, anytime they want to, basically. So, they have been actively engaging in doing exactly that. So all of this racial tension that we are seeing in America is a part of that plan. So what's going to happen is something that's going to be so, bad, so outrageous, something that's going to happen that's going to cause all the people to just, say enough's enough. We got to do something about this police. Something has to happen. Something has to change. The police are killing people. We need to do something. And something so bad is going to happen that the president, whoever that may be, is going to step up and say, you know what, I'm going to pass a bill. I'm going to propose a bill that's going to place the state and local police under federal control so we can do something about this, so we can stop these cops from killing people. Everybody's going to cheer, and we are going to applaud, and we're going to be happy, and we're going to ask for, another nail in the coffin, because that's exactly what they want. We march and we protest and we say, Black Lives Matter. We got to stop these cops. Something has to change. And we don't realize what we are doing. We are asking for a nail in the coffin. We are asking for our own destruction. Now, I know people are going to say, well, what are we supposed to do? And, this is not the way. We are giving them what they want, and they will soon get it. It will happen. Maybe not under Obama, maybe under the new president, who knows? But something is going to happen, and they will federalize state and local police, and then that's one of the nails in the coffin. Now, you have all these false flags. We have the new one that just happened in San Bernardino, California. 14 people killed. It's supposed to be at a Christmas party. I mean, the whole thing is sketchy. It's weird when you look at it, and it's like, okay, another false flag. What did Obama say? Immediately, gun control. This is going to keep happening. But we see these things. We see the whole fake newswoman. It's clearly fake. It has been exposed so much. I mean, whoever she is, she need to just come out of hiding. She need to just come out and say, okay, y'all got me. It's fake. But we have exposed this stuff time and time again, and nobody seems to care. And this is what I mean. Like, we sit back and people wonder, what's going to happen to America? What's going to happen here? Whatever they want. Because nobody cares. We see these false flags and people just, oh, well, nobody cares. Then people like me and people like you who watch, who try to spread this information, what happens to us? We are conspiracy theorists, or we crazy when we present this information. When you looked at the whole Sandy Hook thing, and then you look at Batman, when people connect those dots, I mean, it's just like a coincidence to some people, when it's clearly obvious, what took place. You had a crazy guy go into the Batman movie and shoot up the place. You had the kids in the school, and then you just find all the stuff in the Batman movie like it's, coincidence. But nobody wants to connect the dots. Anybody who brings this stuff up is crazy. Then we start finding all these crisis actors. The whole Boston bombing hoax, crisis actors everywhere. One lady at one bombing, one lady at another, but same lady at the shooting. People seeing crying at multiple false flag events. I mean, it's clearly staged. It's clear what they are trying to do here. It's clear that they have an agenda that they have been pushing for years, where they are trying to take our weapons. They're trying to take our guns. And we sit back. The American people has to see it. The news media is clearly in on it. And, nobody says nothing. So they are slowly taking away everything. They took away our land. And a lot of you think that, you own your property, you own your house, you own your land. But the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution says that the government has the right to take your property and any piece of land that it needs for itself or for the public. All they have to do is give you fair compensation. And fair compensation basically means, the comp value or fair market value. So basically, if all the homes in your neighborhood has been selling for $1 million, but you decided, to be a baller, to add some granite, some marble in the house, some gold trim, tray ceilings and stuff like that. And now your house is worth about $2 million. Well, eminent domain only has to give you, $1 million. They only have to give you the comp value. And a lot of people has heard of eminent domain, especially here in Philly. And, they come through and they take your property. They have taken away properties from people who lived in their house for, decades, and given them just, the comp value. So if you live in a neighborhood where, you put thousands of dollars in your house and the neighborhood started declining, and the last time a house sold was, let's say, in the 80s for about 20,000. And this happened. So now they can go look at the comps and see what the houses have been selling for in your neighborhood, and they have not been selling for much. They're not going to give you the value of your house. They're going to give you the comp. So now your house is worth 100,000. They might only give you 20. This has been happening. You can check it out for yourself. So the government can come and take your house. And remember, they're going to take your property. They're going to take your land and give you what? Paper. They're going to take your property and give you paper. They're going to take actual land and give you paper. And you're going to smile and accept that paper. They've taken real money, gold and silver, and given us paper. Paper. And this is what has been going on, and we have been accepting this. So they took our land, they took our money, then they took our freedom. 1933, when the Social Security Act was passed, and everybody had to be registered with a Social Security number. Now, the whole thing is we are a lot older now. This is the 21st century. A lot of people have no clue that the world, America, actually functioned for hundreds of years without people having a birth certificate or Social Security card or an ID card. People function, America still existed. It still thrived without us having those numbers. A lot of us are brainwashed. A lot of people don't realize what I'm saying here. They say, well, of course, we need a Social Security number. It's too many people. And, it's easier that way. It's easier for us to do these things. And it's a better way to do these things than for us to have this number that follows you everywhere. You can't drive without that number. You can't buy a house. You can't go to school. You can't get a loan. You need that number to do all these things. And like I said, a lot of people are brainwashed and they look at government, and we look at government as this helpful system that's supposed to serve the people, but it's clearly not. I mean, we have a police force. It's called a police force, not the police force, because that's what they use. They instill force. They do what they do by force. Yes, if you don't believe that, tell a cop no and watch what happened to you. Walk away. Watch what happened to you. You're going to go down by force. So for people, they're going to say, of course, we need the police. People are crazy. Crime happens and, the police force is needed. But you have to stop and think. If the government is doing what it's supposed to do with our money and our freedom, why would there be a need for a police force? Of course, you could have a sheriff, like they had back in the 1800s when people were still free and sovereign. But you can have a sheriff to, sit there, a small minimum police for, domestic violence, local drunk, small stuff. But if the government is doing its job, if people are not homeless, there's enough jobs to go around, we are manufacturing things, we are making things in this country and, bringing in money, people are not homeless and starving on the streets, there would be no need for a police force. Crime would be low because about 95% of the crimes that happens in America are due to poverty. You got your domestic violence and stuff like that happens, but 9 times out of 10, when you go and you look back at all the crimes, they are, they exist because of poverty. And that's plain to see. People are poor. They can't afford to eat, so they steal. Can't afford to pay bills, so they steal. People rob, people kill, things happen. People sell drugs. And we know everything that comes with that situation is because of poverty. So if the government was doing its job and taking care of the people, which they are supposed to do, that is its job, then there will be no more need for a police force. But, as long as people can go to work, long as people can eat, long as people can, have one of these and have money in their pocket, the whole thing is they really don't care what the government does with its freedom, its food, our homes, our entertainment. We don't really care what the government do. And we sit around and we wonder, what's going to happen. A lot of people are starting to panic, looking at the news and seeing what's going on. And we really don't care what they do. As long as we have money and entertainment and we can go have fun, and as long as the police is not in your way or the government is not in your face right now today, people don't care. So where are we headed? Where are we headed in this country? We are headed for wherever they want us to go. Whatever they are planning, whatever they want to do, they will accomplish it because we don't care. We care more about, rap battles, rap beefs, stupid stuff, fights, sports, memes. You can see by the amount of likes and views certain videos get what we care about in America. These little funny videos that's all over Facebook, they funny, millions of likes. But, a video, where a positive person is speaking, trying to educate people, we rarely get 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 likes. People don't care. As long as they have money, as long as they can eat and work, they typically don't care what the government does. So for the rest of us, it's a problem. For people who are conscious and know what's going on and what's taking place in this country, it's a problem. It's a problem when you try to wake people up and say, hey, put down the goddamn joystick, turn off the fucking TV, pay attention to what they're doing, look at what's going on. It's a problem when we scream and we try to wake people up and they don't care. So when people ask me this question, what's going to happen here? Exactly what they want to happen, because people don't give a shit. And we have to change that. You have to change it. You got to speak up, post videos, do something. Go find inspirational videos and post them, or, information, and put it out there, and whatever you can do. Nothing is too small, but we got to wake people up, bombard them. I'm happy to see that, when, what's his name? McDonald, the kid, 17-year-old kid, was shot 16 times. That video flooded Facebook. I was very happy to see that. Every time I scrolled up, I kept seeing that video, and people was outraged from all over. Black, white, Mexican, Asian. So many people posted that video. And I was like, yes, people are waking up, because they seen it, and it was so graphic and so brutal. And then the story behind it, people posted it. And, it got a lot of traction, and it still is getting a lot of traction, and people really looking into it. But it's waking people up when you do stuff like that. So we got to step back and look at what we putting our energy into, what we putting our attention into, and we got to realize, and we got to say to ourselves, is this what I need to be focusing on? Is this what people need to see? Should I post this meme? Should I post this funny video? Or should I post something positive? Should I post some kind of information? And I know that sounds corny, and I know people want to be like, well, I don't want to be serious all the time, and Facebook not about that, YouTube not about that, I want to have fun, this and that. But if you don't care, they obviously don't care. It's people out there who don't have this information. It's people out there who have no clue about none of the stuff I talk about. And one video changed their whole situation. Now, I know a lot of people get real spooked out. A lot of people get real scared. We start talking about the government. They can watch you. They can see everything. A lot of people get scared. And fear is what keeps a lot of people from doing things. People get so scared. They don't want to post videos. They don't even want to watch certain videos. They just want to stay in this safe, happy zone. They don't want nothing to disturb their day. Their day it's been peaceful, no drama. People think that, I don't want no problems. I just want to go to work, keep my head down, work, serve my master, serve my boss, keep my head down. I don't want no trouble. And this is the thing. And pretty soon, you're not going to have a choice. Pretty soon, it's not going to be a choice. And if it gets to that point where we don't have a choice, we lose. So we got to get to getting now. Because when it gets to that point where we don't have a choice, when you force to fight, that's it. They got you mapped out. They got a plan of attack. You have nothing because you've been scared. You're living in fear. So as soon as those guns come up, you putting your hands up, and they might be putting you down anyway. So yeah, you see a lot of these videos popping up all over YouTube of people with guns, ammo, all different kinds of counts of ammo. Because whether you realize it or not, it's people out here who know what might be coming, and they are preparing for it. They got Bina drums that hold 1,000 rounds and all kinds of crazy guns and modified weapons, and they not scared to post these videos on YouTube and Facebook. I've seen a lot of them, crazy guns out there, because people know what's coming and they are prepared to defend themselves and their family against whatever. So you have to feel the same way. You got to be the same way. You can't sit back and be scared thinking that I don't want no trouble, I don't want no drama. We can prevent all of this or any kind of major drama from happening with just education, waking people up. But first, people got to stop being so scared. People got to stop being so spooked out, about what the government can do, what the government is talking about, where they're moving, their actions, and focus on what we can do, as a group, as a collective. I'm not talking about a group of people in one state. I'm talking about it's going to take a lot of people to get things done. Because if you want to, impeach a senator or impeach a president, you couldn't just do that without, the people as a collective. You would have to get the Senate involved to get that done. And one state can't do that. It would take a lot of people. So the Constitution actually lists, powers that the people have against the government. When you look at, Article 2, Section 4 of the Constitution, the section on, the standard for impeachment, where it's talking about what we can do to impeach a president or, a member of Congress or Senate or what have you, and get rid of them. And the whole thing is, when you look at 9/11 and you look at what took place there, there's no way in the world that George Bush should not have been impeached. He got on stage and joked about the weapons of mass destruction. All those people got killed. Millions of Iraqis dead. People got their arms and legs blown off. And he on stage joking about weapons of mass destruction. A lot of people saw that. Nobody said nothing. Who you gonna go to? You can't run to somebody and say, hey, we got all this information on George Bush. Look at these tapes. 9/11 this, it was an inside job. Who are you going to go to present this information? There's nobody we can run to, as an individual to get this information to say, hey, I got enough information on George Bush and his family, on, his administration and what took place with these weapons and what took place with 9/11 that can put them all in prison. Who are you going to give it to? What's going to happen? There's no police for the president. You only have the Senate, and we can't get to the Senate except for as, a mass of people. Do you know you can look and see in the Constitution that, we are not bound to that. They have already changed it anyway. It's a document that lists the rights we have. Y'all think that it controls us, but you have already given away your freedom, just by being a citizen. You carrying around an ID, you're a citizen, they own you. You have willingly given yourself to them, to this corporation. And nobody, looks at Washington and says anything like, Washington, D.C., District of Columbia. What is that? District of Columbia. What is that? Nobody looks at it and say, well, these people are not even a part of America. It's a separate country. It's a corporation that runs this country. The whole layout is Masonic. We can see it. Nobody looks at this and say nothing. Nobody says what's going on with this whole Masonic layout of Washington, D.C. And wait a minute, they're not a part of America? And they control what? They have power over who? Nobody says nothing. We just, I don't want no trouble. I just want to work. I just want to, feed my kids. Pretty soon, not going to have a choice. Got to wake up. And I'm glad to see that people are actually waking up. People are waking up and looking around and saying, what's something not right. This is crazy. What's going on? People getting shot like crazy and, all these false flags and they're trying to take our weapons and, wars overseas. What's going on? Something that's not right. People starting to wake up and see, what's been happening. And we can't stand around no more and just accept it. We have become willing hostages. That's what we are. Willing accomplices to the atrocities that has been going on overseas in Iraq and in Syria. People get outraged. when the troops is killed, but millions of Iraqis have been killed. Look how many people in Syria are being killed. Just, we let it slide. We don't say nothing. No outrage. It's America. So now at some point in the coming years, maybe 5 years, 10 years, who knows? Everything is going to come to a climax at some point, depending on us, the people, how much, we can stop, how much information gets out there. Like, I'm going to say it again. I'm happy to see so many people are waking up, as, it seems to be a glimmer of hope for the people here in America from what I can see, and from, what I've been involved in myself. I can see, millions, people from all over the world. I talk to people in Nigeria, people in Haiti, people in Iceland, people all over. People from all over the world I talk to about what's going on around the world. And it seems that, it's a huge, consensus, a huge conscious awakening of people to what's going on. And, I had a long conversation with this brother from Iceland about the whole revolution that took place there. And, the thing we have to realize here in America is, the court system, your politicians, the religious system, all of these things are one. You talk about your media, your corporations, your government, one. They all one. You have to realize the corporations control the politicians. They running things here. They run it. The bankers are running things here. So now in Iceland, what happened is they try to do the same thing there. Now Iceland is small. It's about 320,000 people there. That's it. So small country. So the bankers came in there and they basically bankrupt the country, so they can try to give it, put it in the hands of their masters, which is the IMF and the World Bank. But the people say, what? Hey, wait a minute. We didn't incur this debt. The IMF and the World Bank said, we're going to step in there. We're going to take over the country and we're going to fix things and get you guys out of debt. And the people said, hell no, because we didn't incur this debt. The bankers did this. We had nothing to do with this. So they rioted, they marched and they protested and they came together. And eventually it forced these politicians to resign, and they gripped them up and locked their ass up. In Iceland, this is something that you haven't seen on the news. Big revolt. So then they elected, new officials, and, of course they had a backup plan. These new officials came in and said, hey, this is what we're going to do. Everybody in Iceland is going to pay about $100 a month for about 15 years, and, with interest, and then we'll pay off the debt. And the people was like, no. Hell no. We didn't incur the debt. We got nothing to do with this debt. We don't like this plan either. Get out of here. So they got rid of them too. And they came up with their own plan as a people to get rid of the debt, fix the debt, so they won't have to allow the IMF and the World Bank to come into their country and take over. Plain and simple. Iceland, got to learn from that country. Look at Haiti. Look at what happened with Haiti. Haiti overthrew their government as well. But then we know the earthquake followed right after that. And then they needed aid. They needed help. So we have to learn from these countries, from these people. But we are blinded by entertainment. We are blinded by stupid shit. We are blinded by twerking, blinded by sports. We are blinded by dumbness, by memes, by little funny videos, 15-second videos. Blinded by Facebook and Instagram and all kinds of stupid stuff. And we're going to be so blind that we are not going to see when it hit us. So we all basically have to wake up and realize it's not a black-white thing. This is a citizen thing. This is a people thing. This is about the people. It's about getting this country straight. Is it going to happen? A lot of you are resigned to, hell no. Whatever happens, happens. This is the kind of mindset people have. Oh, well, whatever happens, happen. If they kill me, so what? And that's what they want you to feel. They want you to think like that. They want you to think like, it's hopeless. There's nothing you can do, or it's in God's hands, or, it's nobody coming to save us, people. We all we got. We all we got. Ain't nobody coming. There's no police we can call to police the government. We're on our own. The power is in the people. We can fix all of this shit if people just wake up. If people just pay attention and look around and just, speak up when they see something. The power is in the people. Like, they are nothing. Small amount of people doing all this damage. I mean, these false flags are so obvious. They obvious. It's a joke almost to when you see these things happen, and it's like, again, ain't that much coincidence in the fucking world. I don't care what nobody say. People just gonna keep going in places and shooting places up. Like, come on. Right after that, what they talking about? Gun control. If y'all let these people take your guns, if you let them take your freedom, it's over. It's over. Nothing you're gonna be able to do after that. Can't say I told you so. Can't say nothing. It's just gonna be it. If they federalize the state and local police, that's game. They take our guns, that's game. Martial law will follow. The dollar will collapse. It's gonna be, anybody who's under that poverty line, say goodbye. Because that's what they're trying to get rid of. If you poor, they want you fucking dead. In the ground. Plain and simple. And that's a lot of you who are poor. Seriously. Everybody ain't got the means to just fly out of the country. And then, the dollar collapse. It's going to follow everywhere. Everybody's going to be affected except for those countries who were smart enough to protect themselves. Pay attention. Watch C-SPAN. Watch the news. Pay attention to their bullshit. I know it's bullshit, but listen to it. Because when you start watching the news and watching, especially CNN, when you start paying attention to what they're saying and comparing it to real events and, real information, then, you can see where the bullshit comes in. It's easy to see that the news media is in on all this crap. I mean, it's easy to see this stuff. They own the news media. Look at who owns these corporations. Pay attention to what's going on. This stuff is not hard. So, I get a lot of questions about people just wanting to know what's going to happen in America, what's going to take place here. And like I said, whatever they want to do, it's going to happen. It's people who seriously believe that Obama is a good president and he's done what he's supposed to do and, he's a good dude. It's people who are seriously pro-Obama who really think that he controls the country. And I question a person who honestly think that a president is going to come in and just take over, the leadership of a country. And he comes in and he just knows everything, how to work everything. And, he has foreign relationships and he has, he just knows so much. It's a position that you would have to really spend some years studying. You can't just say, oh, I was a senator or I was a general and now I'm qualified to run basically the free world. There's already people in place, obviously. And it's just some people who can't fathom that. It's people behind closed doors who are, pulling the strings or who is really controlling things. And until people can fathom that and realize that, yes, the proof is out there, the documentation is out there, that the Federal Reserve is basically running the bankruptcy of America because America, yes, it went bankrupt. And the Federal Reserve has been managing the bankruptcy since the 1930s. Our government is operating under emergency powers, of our government. So it's the Federal Reserve, the Treasury. It is the Federal Reserve who basically is controlling the president saying, hey, well, wait a minute. We own this country legally. It's ours. We own it. Y'all still paying off this debt. We're giving y'all more debt to pay off because the money is debt. So we really make the laws. Remember, Alan Greenspan. Here it is again.
What is the proper relationship, what should be the proper relationship between a chairman of the Fed and a president of the United States?
Well, first of all, the Federal Reserve is an independent agency, and that means basically that there is no other agency of government which can overrule actions that we take. So long as that is in place and there is no evidence that the administration or the Congress or anybody else is requesting that we do things other than what we think is the appropriate thing, then what the relationships are don't frankly matter.
So again, Alan Greenspan is basically saying, hey, we run things. It doesn't matter who you put in there. I don't care what the president is. It don't matter what he say. They control everything. He's basically telling you straight up that the Federal Reserve is running the country. So the Federal Reserve is owned and, controlled by who knows, private bankers who are not Americans, who do not have the best interests of America at heart. They don't give a damn about what happens here. Their goal is to make you patriotic and get you all excited about America so you can send your kids to go die. So you can fight for their agenda. They don't give a damn. That's why you see all these cases where, people have to take down the American flag and, these people don't care about America. They don't care about what's going on because they are not Americans. They're not worried about it. This country they are using to complete their plans of, global domination, New World Order. This is why everybody hate America, because they're using America to do things, to control things. Plain and simple. And people got to read up, and you got to just look at official documents. District of Columbia, separate country, it's not a part of America. Look at Federal Reserve Act. Just read it. There is no limit. It's no expiration date to where we have to pay this money back, or to when they're going to give up their power. There's no charter on the Federal Reserve like it was back when you had the Bank of North America. There's no charter. There's no 20-year charter. These people are going to be here forever. They're controlling things because they can keep creating debt to where we can never pay it back. And who knows how much we really owe. But we know that JFK obviously had a plan to pay it all back, and he got rid of them, which is one of the reasons why he got killed. So it's obviously possible to do so. It's just there's nobody in the Senate fighting for it. They have bought off everybody. You might got one or two good congressmen, or maybe one senator, maybe a couple people in there who are okay. But for the most part, everybody has been bought off. All these politicians saying, I'm just going to go with the flow, do what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to show up and vote. And, I got power. I got immunity. I don't have to be like the sheeple. So, of course, they're not going to give up they seat, they piece of the pie, for what? To get killed? They ain't speaking out for nobody. So, it's just what it is. It is what it is. And until people step up and start waking up and seeing what's going on and stop being so scared and realize that we are basically accomplices to what they are doing because we just sit back and let it happen. We look at TV and we watch all these false flags and we just say, oh, well, to everything that happens. People put out this information and we just say, oh, well, what can I do? And that's basically it. I mean, it's messed up that it got to be like this, but it is what it is. That's all we can say. So, I just try to put out the information and try to wake people up. Some of you share it, some of you watch it and learn, which is the best thing to do. Like I say, learn as much as possible. And this is the best thing we can do because eventually, it's going to come to a point where we have so much information and we know so much, they're not going to be able to make a move. Because now, most of you now, since you get this information, you have been able to look at TV or look at movies and spot things, like that because of the information you picked up. You have been able to say, oh, I know what that's about as soon as you see it. So when I look at these false flags, you can automatically see, you can see from the lingo, from the way they're talking, just all of a sudden you got witnesses and you got people coming, Chicago Police Department, some police chief coming from somewhere saying all these things. And it's like, how he just so happened to be in a neighborhood when this false flag, occurred. He just so happened to be near, like he knew it was going to go down. I mean, just look at the lingo. Look at the same MO. You got a witness. He says all these things. It conflicts with the official story. And then it's like, it's come on. It's the same stuff over and over again. And it's messed up. If 14 people really got killed in California, it's crazy. But again, people don't care. They focused on stupid shit. Season finale of Empire. At the same time, we got this false flag. And people just don't care. But, my whole thing is to wake up as much people as possible. And hopefully, and I'm glad to see it's happening. It looks like, a lot of people waking up. But hopefully, this video will help a lot of people, wake up. So now my final piece of advice, just stay alert. Stay on top of your game. Keep researching. Keep putting out the information. Keep trying to wake people up no matter how much they say you crazy or you're a conspiracy theorist or what have you. Keep putting out the information. Keep supporting people who's trying to put out the information. You know, stay on top of your game. Stay up to date on this information. Don't get lost. You know, keep up with it, because you need to know what's taking place and what's going on here. You need to be aware of these things so you can see what's coming. You can predict what's coming. You can put the information out, and, you know, you can wake other people up as well. So now, I want to thank everybody for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you guys next video.